So what do you say, everybody? Let's get down to business. Our Win a Stanley Cup with the Buffalo Sabres challenge is on. Really quickly, I probably won't sign anybody, but free agency was pretty stacked. Vinny Lecavalier, Derek Roy. Again, probably not going to sign anybody because I don't want to immediately sign and then trade people away. Tyler Bozak was apparently a free agent. Probably just going to leave my roster the way it is. And just inherit what I inherit without making any changes, at least through free agency. It's not too fun for me to immediately sign people. And then goalie-wise, Ilya Brizgalov as a free agent there as well. And Tim Thomas. But yeah, I'm not going to immediately sign anybody. Some of those guys will end up being signed, but it does ruin the fun for me a little bit to immediately do something like that. As it is, we're at 48 contracts. We really don't have space to bring in anybody else at this stage. So, at least not until some other moves happen. So, let's take a look at what our starting roster will be as we go to our goaltenders. Pretty much have no choice but to send Matt Hackett down. Oh my god, the swap option. Why did they ever get rid of the swap option? It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Anyway, defensively, Myers, Ehrhoff. Got McBain, Mike Weber, Mark Pysyk, Chad Ruhwedel. We'll be sending down Chad Ruhwedel. And Braden McNabb will make this team. Honestly, even 72 overall Mark Pysyk is going to make this team out of pure necessity. Shout out to Baby Risto. Right wing side is pretty weak if we wanted to play people in their proper position. That's a bit of a shame. We'll call up Corey Tropp. Let's go for Greg Such. Probably end up calling him up. Left wing side was Vanek, Leno, Foligno, Gerby, and John Scott. And then centers... We actually did have some center depth, but Brian Flynn can be sent down. Let's call up the Such. So we're going to go with Ott, Hodgson, Ennis, Porter. We can send Grigorenko back to junior. And Johan Larsson can be sent down as well. So if we go best lines, Vanek, Ennis, Stafford, Leno, Hodgson, Gerby, Foligno, Ott, Tropp, Scott, Porter, Coletta. So John Scott and Patrick Coletta on the same line. Defense is Ehrhoff, Myers, Weber, McBain, McNabb, and Pysyk. And obviously our goaltenders, Ryan Miller and Jonas Enroth. So, we have some pieces to work with, not an insane amount. The one thing that I did not do before we jumped into this, and I'm pretty sure thinking about Buffalo jerseys is what reminded me of this. Obviously, with modes, there's some stuff to show off, but again, the servers are down. I can't show off everything. But in terms of jerseys, I just wanted to look, because was this not the era? Boston's the same. Was this not the era of the greatest Sabres jersey of all time? Look at it! Look at it! It's so bad. It's so bad. It honestly wouldn't be that bad. What ruins it for me is the gray on the sleeves. If you just had it as a primary yellow with the blue shoulders, it'd be okay. The gray on the sleeves absolutely ruined it. Absolutely ruined it. Calgary finally picked up this alternate, which that's the one Flames jersey I own right now. It's a Monahan. it on the wall behind me? Yeah, it is. Look at that. It's right over there. What do you know? Carolina. Oh, God. Carolina underwent their super simplified rebrand. Ugh. They were just so plain. I mean, Chicago's Chicago. Nothing to talk about there. Avs were still the Avs. The Blue Jackets were still the Blue Jackets. They finally got the blue right on that jersey, though. The Dallas Stars, though, underwent their rebrand that they still have to this day. I know some people don't like these, but let's be honest. That is a hell of a lot better than what they had before. You know? I mean, Detroit's Detroit. They did have that jersey, though. One of the greatest jerseys of all time. The greatest Red Wings jersey of all time. Again, that is the one that I have. It's amazing. What a jersey. The Oilers had Oilers jerseys. Florida makes me want to vomit. Of course, LA had their full rebrand underway. Nothing too crazy. Minnesota. I like that they went with this as a home jersey because I still love that Wild jersey. I have one of those as a Pominville. It's literally right there. What are the odds? Perfect. That I never liked that road jersey though. Never did. Especially when they had that as their old road jersey, which was really great. So Montreal had Montreal jerseys. Nashville had that updated look for the past couple of seasons. Devils had Devils jerseys. The Islanders still had that terrible jersey as well. This is what the Sabres were trying to compete with for worst jersey in the NHL. S tier Rangers jersey as well. Absolutely tremendous. What Leafs jersey do I own? I have an Austin Matthews. Just their standard home jersey. They still don't have the winter or the Heritage Classic. Damn. Philly. That winter classic. That's the jersey. Again, I love the Reebok era of jerseys. That's the Flyers jersey that I own at the moment. I've had a couple of Flyers jerseys over the years. That's the sole survivor at this point. As a Giroux, chef's kiss. What a jersey. So much better than what they're running as a home jersey right now, by the way, because they didn't put a fucking outline. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's right there. There it is. What are the odds? Why the fuck didn't the Flyers put an outline on the sleeve number? The fuck? Anyway, the Coyotes. Desert Dog jersey, still really good. It is. Pittsburgh had Penguins jerseys. I have that jersey too. God. We're looking through my jersey collection in virtual form. I have that Sharks jersey as a Joe Thornton. It's on the wall. There it is. The Joe Thornton. What the fuck? What is that, 5? I think that's 5 jerseys on the wall. 4. What the fuck? Ridiculous. The St. Louis Blues. Still an amazing jersey. Is the Sakura Pittsburgh one? No, it's a Ducks jersey. Tampa. Bolts, even though no one ever called them the Bolts. Stop trying to make Bolts happen. Look at that. Good Leafs jerseys, bad Leafs jerseys. Good Leafs jerseys, bad Leafs jerseys. Why don't I have that Blues jersey? It's tough to find. It's fucking expensive and tough to find. That's why. Otherwise, that's what I'd have. The greatest Canucks jersey of all time. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. This was also expensive, but 100% worth it. 100% worth it. Such a good jersey. Washington had Washington jerseys. Nothing crazy. And then the Winnipeg Jets had Winnipeg Jets jerseys. Really quickly, the AHL, the Abbotsford Heat had been there, which is fine. Not too many of these teams would have changed in the AHL. And I'm not going to look through every jersey because we don't bother. Did the Checkers have that sick alternate? No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The team I am most interested in... Iowa was Iowa. Team I was most interested in. Ah, they still didn't have the alternate. I think it was 2015. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ooh, the Utica Comets were in for the first time. Fair enough. So the Checkers, we talked about this a little bit ago. I'll go ahead and go back to it. The Charlotte Checkers had this unbelievable jersey that people don't properly respect, and I will never forgive people for not properly respecting this. We have shown it before. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know. Yeah, they did put it on a jersey. Look at it! Look at how fucking cool that logo is! Look at how fucking cool this logo is! And people gave it a 5 out of 10 on sports logos. These people live among us. They drive. They go to the grocery store. These fucking psychopaths are out in the wild voting this as a mid logo. The fuck's the matter with you? S tier. Anyway. God damn it. They download cars off the internet. They walk among us. All right, let's get back to franchise. Why does the stick have a flag? Doesn't seem optimal for... because it should. Because it should have a flag. Don't step on snack. Don't fuck with polar bear. Remember how I was going to play Be a Pro this year on NHL 24? I should just do a live the life after all this time. All right. All right, so our roster is set, as we saw. We do have to go to Ye Olde Trade Block. And similar to how we started things off with the Florida Panthers, I am pretty much just going to be prospect hunting in the early stages of this. Just to kind of see what we can do in terms of rebuilding this team, because let's be honest, this Sabres team isn't amazing. I just need to go back to the old alternates. They really do. I always, for some reason, see people having a logo from one reason or another. Fair. I mean, again, hey, logos and stuff like that are subjective for the most part. There are some things, though, that you are not allowed to disagree with. Otherwise, you just look like a tryhard. And if someone doesn't like that Charlotte Checkers logo, I can't respect them. I can't. I'm sorry. You have terrible taste. It's just a fact. All right, so let's look for some decent players. Our surplus will be listed as, honestly, everything. I'm very unlikely to move any first-round picks or top prospects, but it is worth looking. And on the block, we're the oldest dudes on the team. Ehrhoff's only 31, but he is one of the older players on the roster. 33-year-old Ryan Miller. I mean, they ended up trading him in real life. He's on the final year of his contract. We would be doing ourselves a disservice to not look at potentially moving Ryan Miller. That is just the reality of the situation. Steve Ott was the captain at the time, wasn't he? He's on an expiring deal. Ehrhoff is not. Ehrhoff is signed for 8 seasons at 31 years old. And again, we are going to leave injuries on, at least briefly, just to see how much it affects the sim speed. Actually, you know what? Sake of time, let's turn them off. Altex, the man who's been on television more than anybody else. The GOAT at getting onto your television screen at hockey games. Lord knows how he does it, but he does. All right. I think we're good. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. GM Tracker. GM Tracker. Make a trade offer during the season. Let's start by bumping up the amateur scout, and then we'll go with the assistant coach. Unfortunately, we start off with a good medical staff, but obviously we just turned off injuries, so that doesn't help. Sabres are still paying a dead cat penalty for Christian We'll go ahead and stop that for a minute. Let's see. 36 wins, LOL. Good luck with that. If we look at GM tasks, scouting, Q forwards for a month. Q forwards for a month. GM options, scouting. Let's get these goals done. Obviously, we will talk about the prospects that are in this game once we get close to the draft. Enjoy seeing that GM rep be positive. One. How long until it falls? That's the real question. Oh, God. At least auto-rotate goalie's a thing now, though. That helps quite a bit. Kings of the preseason, the Buffalo Sabres. Kings of the preseason. Look at this. My goodness. We are going to cruise to the playoffs. Oh, my God. Kings of the preseason. We finally lose to Tampa. But damn. Yeah, the sim is definitely much, much faster. Like I said, I don't mind certain aspects about the gameplay of NHL 13, but 14 is probably the more complete product. Basically, Tyler Ennis and Kevin Porter for a first-round pick from Nashville. Ennis at this stage is only 24 years old. He's an 82 overall. He's on an expiring deal, but he is an RFA when the contract is up. I'm going to say no for now because I have a hunch that Nashville will probably be a pretty good team this year. So I think we hold on to Tyler Ennis. I think we do. I think we do. Cody Hodgson for 2 first-round picks from the Blues. 23 years old and 82 overall, 4 green star, which is the equivalent of high top 6. RFA at the end of the deal, the end of the season. I think, again, we got to hold on to him for the moment. Got to hold on to him for the moment. I expect the Blues to be a good team, too, and trading Cody Hodgson only makes them better. Nashville is not giving up on the whole Tyler Ennis deal, so back out of that conversation. 0-1 to start the year. Is the sim speed faster? Uh-oh. Oh my God, Nashville, leave me alone, man. When does their GM lose reputation, huh? Offering me the same trade every 3 days. Your GM rep better be a -15, David. Drew Stafford and Alex I think it's Alex Lepkowski for a first-round pick. Oh, Drew Stafford for a first-round pick. 27 years old, 84 overall. He was very well-rounded. Has a year left on his deal. I'm going to hold off. I'm actually going to hold off for this as well. If I'm going to trade Drew Stafford, I want it to be closer to the deadline when we know what the actual value of one of those first-round picks will be. Because every single team that's offered us a deal involving a first-rounder so far, Philadelphia included, could end up being a playoff team, and as a result, it could be low. So I'm going to say no to that, too. At least for now. Maybe I should clear out the block until we get closer to the deadline. But at the same time, I don't know. I didn't think it would be slower, but there's also some deals that could go through. All right. W. Marcus Foligno for 2 firsts. I'm going to say no to that right now. Did I accidentally scout the W instead of the Q? That would suck, wouldn't it? That would suck. Foligno so basically Foligno for Yurko in a second. Based on the value for Marcus Foligno. Absolutely not. Ozzy, what's going on? How are you today? We're always tanking at the start of a new challenge, let's be honest. Shit. All right. Well, here, let me mark down all of these tasks really quickly. Forwards in the queue for 4 weeks. Defenders in the U.S. for 3. Goalies in the U.S. for 4. Forwards in the dub for 5 weeks. We need to accomplish those goals. And we can put points on the assistant coach. Actually, the assistant coach is now related to injuries. Not so much getting prospects to develop. Interesting. Maybe we hold off on the assistant coach then for a little bit. Maybe we do. Could I just use the phone? Yeah, probably, but you think that's muscle memory for me right now? Absolutely not. All right, forwards in the queue. All 200 of them. For 4 weeks. There we go. Give me some more points. We are 0-4 on the season, by the way. What a great start. All my sports teams won in the last 24 hours. Mine too. Don't ask me again in another 24 hours once the New England Patriots lose another football game. But yeah, again, I don't want to trade Tyler Ennis. No, thank you. Hodgson. Ooh, Hodgson McBain in a second for 2. I'm going to say no, though. I'm going to say no. We are tanking as only the Buffalo Sabres of this era could tank, which is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Tank commander. Buffalo Sabres getting it done. Hodgson and Stafford. Ooh. I'm going to say no. Because it's the New York Rangers. They still have Henrik Lundqvist. That first round pick isn't worth much. You know, there were certain trades I was hoping to get around this time that we still haven't gotten. I'm gonna probably turn off the trade block here. I feel like it's slowing things down quite a bit. We keep getting very similar offers. There are a lot of trades that I would like to make right now in terms of flipping certain people. But yeah, this is going pretty slow. And we did learn in 13 if we kind of close down the block for a little bit that things can be okay. I'm holding the Y button. This is taking forever. Then again, I should just be able to leave the block the way it is and turn off the notification about computer trades because I do still want the block to be set up the same way. So let's go over to customize. Go into rules. I'll actually look through all of this really quickly. GM firing us off. Computer trades. We'll turn off trade offer notifications. Waiver notifications can stay. Gonna put the attribute effects up for whenever we jump into the game. We want the computer strategy to be up. Given that we don't play it. All of that's fine. Volume's fine. The visual settings, of course, we'll put on true broadcasts. For whenever we jump in and watch the AI play, once we are eventually a playoff team. When that's going to happen, hey, don't ask. Don't ask.
Taste the biscuit.
Shout out to Benchminer Gaming for the sub, by the way. Welcome in. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Enjoy a lovely collection of random nonsensical emotes and enjoy the ride. We're in store for a long one if this season is anything to go off of, if it's any indication. So, whew. Oh, goodness. Sabres suck. I mean, again, they were easily the worst team in the league. First wins against the Bruins. You can't tell me that this game does not intentionally troll the ever-loving hell out of me whenever it possibly can. There are microphones everywhere. They are constantly listening to me. Black helicopters, chemicals in the water that are turning the frogs gay. It's all true. All of it. But especially the part where they have somehow infiltrated whatever console I use to be able to ensure maximum chaos and mental decline for whatever franchise mode I run. Big Rammer is real. We are now a rookie GM. Let's go. Play a game. Fuck you. Never. Level 2 amateur scout still concentrates on Canada, but you'll view more defenders and we'll visit Scandinavia. Ooh. I still can't upgrade that yet, though. Drysdale in the game. We're going to have to wait to find out. Going to have to wait until we get to that draft to find out. We haven't looked at the prospects list yet. We always save it. We always save it. How are the new rosters on 24? If you're talking about the update from last week, not great. I went way too far. USA defense for 3 weeks. We continue to try to get these upgrades. So 4, 10, and 2. We are absolutely dreadful. It's beautiful. It's going to be a good year for rookies. You think? You think? But again, I will always say in regards to this game, like it had its faults. I get why people love it, why people think it's the best one ever. Totally understand. For my money, it's not. It's up there, but it's not. The very number one for me, again, that's still NHL 04, in my opinion. I'd still put NHL 2K10 above this as well for the gameplay side of things and some of the franchise aspects. But if you were to ask me, hey, what's the best franchise mode in the past 10 years or the best game in the past 10 years, it's still this. And then second place over the last decade's NHL 17. We haven't been eating well in the past. Well, I've been eating well. I mean, look at my face. But we haven't been eating well as NHL fans for a while. I like 19 a lot. 19 was okay. It was okay. Again, we have trade offers turned off until we get to about February 1st. I will turn them back on. And then we can start selling off some pieces, which would be nice. That way, too, if we get offered first-round picks, we're going to pretty much have a good idea as to whether or not they are valuable picks. Let's see. We need to go USA goalies for 4 weeks. All 3 of them. At least one of them's projected in the first round, though. So, pick up Yuri Saycatch. Saycatch isn't in the game, but Louis LeBlanc is. Sportmaster, what's going on, by the way? You know, we've actually started to turn it around a little bit this season, but it's not as if this roster is god-awful. Like, we have Ryan Miller, we have some other pieces on the team. So, I do expect us to win some games here and there, as long as we're not winning so many games that we have to kind of worry about tanking towards the end of the season, which we will anyway. But yeah, as you get to experience what sim times were like at this point in time, allow me to put on the hat of e-begging. Except I won't be e-begging, but I will say, hey, if you haven't dropped a follow already, we're closing in on 16K here on the Twitch side of things. Drop a follow if you haven't. I'd appreciate it. We're here basically every single night. Every night, and especially for the most part, shout out to No Poppy. See, there you go. That's why. Whenever people tell you to be like, hey, make sure I always say like and subscribe. That's why people do it. Which, by the way, people will watch us on YouTube in like a month and a half, 2 months. Like and subscribe, fuckers. Do it. Do it now. And follow on the Twitch side of things. Drop that Prime sub. Listen to the Tukey's Take podcast. A hockey podcast that's barely about hockey. That's why we call it a fraudcast. For Edno Mills and Sim for the Win and myself 2 times a week during the season. Except when I go on a mini honeymoon after my wedding, which is in like less than 2 weeks now. So I might miss some streams coming up. You can unfollow when I miss streams. Call me selfish for getting married. I don't fucking know. Anyway, there we go. Derek Dorsett is on waivers. So is Justin Falk. Now, we don't have too many roster spots. The only reason to claim either one of these guys would be if we thought we could flip them. And given that they're on waivers, I don't think that we could flip them. It'd be fun to pick up Derek Dorsett just to have another guy who could punch faces alongside John Scott and Patrick Coletta. I need to keep an eye out, though, for other players of a higher caliber. So we're going to hold off for the moment. We are going to hold off for the moment. God, Christian Ehrhoff's leading our team in assists. Dude, if we get any trade offer starting in February for Christian Ehrhoff, we have to take it. Again, he has an 8-year contract. It's absurd. That is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. And as Architect pointed out, in real life, they still have... they're still paying Christian Ehrhoff. He doesn't count as a dead cap hit, but they are still personally paying Christian Ehrhoff to not play for their team. Rick DiPietro style. So, WHL forwards for 5 weeks, and then I can just let scouting be scouting. And that'll be our final goal. Let me go to the GM tracker here. There we go. Let's upgrade our amateur scout. That is going to be our primary focus, is upgrading that scout as best we can. Why was the Ehrhoff deal even signed to begin with? Because Christian Ehrhoff is actually pretty damn good. At his peak, around the time they signed him, he was pretty damn good. He was a pretty solid part of the Canucks team that went to the Stanley Cup final. He didn't have the greatest playoffs, but he had 50 points in the regular season. 50, especially too, 50 points in the regular season wasn't that bad. But he spent 3 years in Buffalo, looking at the numbers, 30-ish points. And then they just went, let's get him the hell out of there. So then he bounced around and went a bit and then went back home and played in Germany. So, yeah, Christian Ehrhoff was solid. He couldn't live up to that contract. Which, again, even though it's 10 years ago, right? We're in January of 2014, so less than 10 years ago. The contract structure of the league was different. It was different. Pretty drastically, too. So things have changed quite a bit. All right, we are almost to February, where we're going to turn trades back on. And we'll check kind of where we are in the league. Obviously, I love the team leaders thing. We can see what's going on. Shout out to 12 of our 15 wins for Ryan Miller, by the way. Which, again, I hate to say it, but, man, we probably got to trade him. And then if we can bring him back, we'll bring him back. Actually, you know what? The All-Star break is a good time to stop. That is a good time to stop. Let's take a look at the standings, where we are the second worst team in the NHL, just 1 point. 1 point above the Dallas Stars. Then you also have Tampa, who's currently under 40. So we are very much in the lottery mix right now. And given that we are about to make this team worse, we're feeling pretty good. As we get a look here at our team stats. Right now, leading the way, Thomas Vanek on 32 points. Ehrhoff is third in the team. Shout out to Dan Finn for the follow. Welcome in. Depth scoring is not a strength of this team. Again, this is the Sabres team that we've inherited. They were the worst team in the league in real life. We got some work cut out for us, depending on who stays and who goes. You could argue McNabb and Pissick aren't quite ready for prime time either. In goal, Miller's doing what he can to hold it down with a 918. He's actually been pretty damn good. But we'll take a look at league stats at the end of the season. But for now, it's time to start trading people away.